What is Batman's superpower? Most people will say it's his money, his gadgets, his suit. They see the result and mistake it for the cause, but they are wrong. The gadgets are merely tools. The money is just fuel. They are extensions of his power, not the source of it. Batman's true power is invisible. It is a set of 4 core skills that he learned and forged through discipline. These are not abilities he was born with. They are weapons he built, and because they were built, they can be learned. Most people drift through life, reacting to the world. They are slaves to their impulses, their fears, and their environment. Batman is different. He is a person of pure intention. He does not react, he acts. He does not hope, he prepares. This is the gap between the ordinary person and Batman. In this video, we will deconstruct the blueprint. We will ignore his extraordinary levels of wealth and technology and expose the 4 fundamental skills that give Batman his edge. Master these, and you will not need a billion-dollar fortune to operate at a level that seems impossible to others. Let's begin. Skill 1. Strategic observation. The first skill is the foundation of all others. It is the ability to see the world as it truly is, not as it appears to be. Most people see, but they do not observe. They look at a situation and register the surface details. Batman looks at a situation and sees the underlying systems, the hidden patterns, the subtle things that betray the truth. He is not just a crime fighter. He is the world's greatest detective after all. This is not a passive skill. It is an aggressive, relentless hunt for information. When confronted with a problem, the average person asks, "What should I do?" Batman asks, "What do I not yet see?" This skill was not a gift. It was forged through a brutal training of the mind. He studied criminology, forensics, psychology. He learned to read micro-expressions, to analyze body language, to deconstruct a crime scene from a single piece of evidence. He trained his mind to be a data processing machine, constantly absorbing information and running it against known patterns. The insight is this: clarity comes before mastery. You cannot solve a problem you do not fully grasp. You cannot defeat an enemy that you haven't fully studied yet. Wasting effort on the wrong action is the ultimate inefficiency. Strategic observation ensures that when you do act, your action is precise, effective, and final. This leads to the first part of the blueprint. Step 1. Become an information predator. You must shift from being a passive consumer of useless information to an active hunter. For the next 7 days, you will practice 2 things. First, the practice of silent observation. Once a day, for 10 minutes, go somewhere where you can watch people. A coffee shop, a park, a public square. Do not look at your phone and scroll through YouTube shorts. Do not listen to music, just watch. Don't just see people, analyze them. What can you deduce from their posture, their clothes, the way they interact with others? You are not judging them. You are training your mind to see the details beneath the surface. Second, the practice of the second question. In every conversation, meeting, or situation, after you hear the initial information, train yourself to ask a second, deeper question. If a colleague says, "This project is delayed," the first question is why. The second question is, what is the one bottleneck that, if removed, would solve 80% of this delay? This forces you to think deeper and hunt for the root cause. It is the beginning of thinking like a detective. Skill 2. Fear inoculation. Fear is the mind killer. It paralyzes, it clouds judgment, and it keeps you trapped in the cage of your comfort zone. Everyone feels fear. The difference is what you do with it. Most people are controlled by their fear. Batman learned to control it, and then he learned to weaponize it. His journey began in a moment of pure terror, falling into a cave of bats. That fear could have defined him, crippled him for life. Instead, he made a decision. He would not just conquer his fear, he would become it. He would turn the very thing that terrified him into a symbol that would terrify his enemies. This process is a form of psychological conditioning known as exposure therapy. By repeatedly exposing himself to the source of his fear in a controlled way, he desensitized his nervous system. He inoculated himself against panic. He trained his mind to remain calm and analytical, even when his body was screaming with adrenaline. The insight is this: courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to act despite feeling fear. It is a trainable skill, like a muscle. The more you expose it to resistance, the stronger it becomes. You cannot think your way out of fear. You must act your way through it. This leads to the second part of the blueprint. Step 2. Microdose resistance. Your goal is to systematically expand your comfort zone. You will do this by taking on small, manageable doses of what you fear. Identify one area of your life where fear holds you back. Is it talking to girls, difficult conversations, financial risk? Now break that fear down into its smallest possible components and schedule 1 exposure per day. If you fear talking to girls, your mission for day 1 is not to go on a date. It is to just say hello to a girl that walks by. That's it. Day 2, you say it to 2 girls. Day 3, you give a random girl a compliment. Each action is small, but it is a victory. It is a repetition. You are training your nervous system, proving to your primitive brain that the threat is not deadly. You are not trying to eliminate fear. You are building the strength to move forward even when it is present. You are inoculating yourself, one deliberate action at a time. Skill 3, resourcefulness. Batman has no superpowers. This is his greatest weakness and therefore his greatest strength. A being like Superman with infinite power has no need for creativity. When you can solve any problem with brute force, you never learn the art of strategy. Batman, being immortal, was forced to become the ultimate problem solver. Every challenge had to be met not with pure strength, but with intellect, preparation, and the creative use of the resources at his disposal. His wealth was not a solution, it was raw material. He had to learn engineering to build the Batmobile. He had to learn chemistry to create his smoke pellets. He had to learn criminology to become a detective. His utility belt is the ultimate symbol of this mindset. It is a collection of simple, single-purpose tools that, when combined with his intellect, can solve any problem. A grappling hook, a bat bomb, a smoke pellet. Individually, they are limited. In the hands of a master strategist, they make him unstoppable. The world is divided into 2 types of people, those who see limitations and those who see leverage. The resourceful person does not complain about what they lack. They perform a ruthless inventory of what they have, no matter how small, and ask one question: how can this be used to achieve the mission? This leads to the 3rd part of the blueprint. Step 3, conduct a resource inventory. You have more assets at your disposal than you realize. You are simply not trained to see them. Take out a piece of paper and divide it into 4 columns: skills, knowledge, tools, and alliances. Skills: what can you do? Edit video, write persuasively, speak a second language, cook, be brutally honest. Knowledge: what do you know? Deep knowledge of a specific industry, a historical period, a software. Tools: what do you have? A laptop, a smartphone, $100 in savings, a car. Alliances: who do you know? A friend who is a graphic designer, a relative in a specific company. Now define the single biggest problem you are currently facing. Look at your inventory and begin to brainstorm. How can you combine these seemingly unrelated assets to create a solution? Can you trade your video editing skill with your graphic designer friend? Can you use your knowledge of an industry to write an article that gets you noticed? This exercise forces you to stop thinking about what you don't have and start acting with what you do. Skill 4, identity forging. This is the final and most profound skill. It is the understanding that the self is not a fixed entity. It is a construct, and if it can be constructed, it can be engineered. Bruce Wayne is a flawed, mortal man. He feels pain, grief, and temptation. He could have remained that man, a traumatized orphan defined by his past. But he chose to do something radical. He created a new identity, a symbol. Batman is not just a costume. It is a separate psychological entity with its own rules and its own non-negotiables. Bruce Wayne might feel tired, but Batman must patrol. Bruce Wayne might feel fear, but Batman must act. Bruce Wayne is a man, but Batman is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. By creating this alter ego, he created a psychological system to overcome his own limitations. When he puts on the cowl, he is not pretending. He is activating a different part of himself, a part that is bound by a higher standard. Discipline is no longer a matter of daily motivation. It is a matter of upholding the integrity of the identity he has forged. You cannot will yourself to be a new person. You must build a new person. You must define the rules and principles of this new identity so clearly that violating them feels like a betrayal of who you are. This leads to the final part of the blueprint. Step 4, forge your alter ego. This is not a game. It is a psychological tool for self-transformation. First, give this identity a name. It could be your own name spoken with a new intention or a symbolic name. Second, define its 3 core principles. What are the 3 non-negotiable truths that this identity lives by? He does not break his word. He finishes what he starts. He acts with intention. Third, define its code of conduct. What are the specific daily actions that this identity performs without fail? He wakes up at 6 a.m. He exercises for 30 minutes. He reads for 30 minutes. Now, when you are faced with a moment of weakness, the temptation to hit snooze, to procrastinate, to quit, you will stop and ask one question: what would my alter ego do? The answer will be dictated not by your fleeting feelings, but by the code you have written. You are no longer relying on willpower. You are relying on identity. So these are the 4 pillars of the blueprint. Strategic observation to see the truth. truth, fear inoculation to act in spite of it, resourcefulness to create solutions from nothing, identity forging to become the person capable of executing it all. These skills are not magic. They are the result of a conscious, deliberate, and often painful process of self-creation. Batman began as a broken child. He ended as a legend. He did not have superpowers. He became one. The blueprint is in front of you. The work is yours to do.